And this week we are talking about the fundamentals of music. Um, yes, you practice alone, but at the end of the day, you're not going to play music alone. You're either going to play with a band in school or a team somewhere, but music is meant to be played together. Music is a team sport. So, and in order for you to play with other people and for you to gel, there are some things that you need to have under your belt. There are some things that you need to get done in order for that to work for you. And that's what we're going to be talking about this week. Just a recap on last week, we spoke about tone development, we spoke about having a model tone, we spoke about matrix placement and some exercises like the long tone exercises that helps to build your embouchure, also the octave exercises that help to build your embouchure, learn how to breathe, and also help you with tuning, you can hear properly because if your tuning is not right, it's sorry, people will be playing at 440, hertz, and if you are like 445 or 450, it's just going to be off. When you do the octave exercises, you also hear yourself as you play. Then we spoke about the dark tone, which is used for developing your sound by playing the very deepest note of the horn and holding it there. And lastly, we spoke about tonguing, which helps with articulation. Tonguing is used for expressing aggression, for getting attention. We use mostly in fast songs. It's used just to create some pace and some tension in the band. Now, this week we move on to fundamentals and music theory. Like I said, you're gonna play with people. You won't play by yourself. You play with a band in a church, a jazz band, a um, wedding band or whatever. And in order for you to be the best, it is important to know some things that happens behind you. Like if you check the email that I sent to you this morning, I spoke just a little bit about what used to happen to me in the beginning. I play well when I'm feeling good. My playing is terrible when I'm not feeling good. And that experience was so bad because I'll be in a band and when things are right, I kill it, but when I'm not feeling good or sometimes I actually don't know, they'll tell me this is what they are doing, but because I do not have the musical knowledge that is required, I cannot flow. I remember some of the very first time I played jazz. It was a terrifying experience. I mean, now I'm better at it. Of course, I'm still learning. But in order for you to be able to grow, it is important that you know what is happening behind you. And that is what this particular week is all about. Knowing what is happening behind you so that you can make a better decision, more informed decision. You can tackle any song, you won't have any challenges with them. We're going to talk about the staff. What is the staff? The staff is this thing for writing music. The staff has 5 lines and 4 spaces. This is what the staff looks like. Staff, they always name the staff from the lowest note, from the lowest line. It has 5 lines and 4 spaces. You count it from the lowest line. So this is line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. And this is space. So it's got 5 lines and 4 spaces. This is space 1, space 2, space 3, space 4. Listen, that is all about it. It's not more than that. Nothing else. Now I'm going to focus on the treble clef. We've got the treble clef and the treble or G clef or the bass or F clef. But as saxophonists, we play mostly in the treble clef. And I see there's no one playing baritone here. So we might as well just speak it where everyone understands. Now, this is called a treble or G clef. Treble or G clef. Now, the first 7 letters of the alphabet is used in music. That is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now, this is called the G clef because this very point where the stem meets the second line is actually where the G note is. So whenever you see this staff thing, if you even look at it, it looks like a kind of G itself, So it's called a treble or G clef, and this is where the G note is, the intersection where the line meets, the stem of the staff. So this is the G note, and this is the treble or G clef. That is the clef that saxophone music is written in all the time, all the time. You know, like I said, staff has 5 lines and 4 spaces. Now, the lines and spaces of the treble clef. I'm sure everyone that has seen music before. I mean, if you play music, you've seen one of these things before. But some of you know how to read it, some of you may not know how. But I'm just assuming, let's just take this quickly. Now, like I said, this is the G note. It is because that is where the intersection of the clef and the line, where they meet each other, So this is the G note. Now, I said the very first 7 letters of the alphabet are used in music, and they just follow each other like that. So if this is G, so the note before that, before G is F, the note before F is E. So this is E. So this line is E, the next line is G, the next one is B, then you have the D, and you have the F up there. So for you to remember it, it says, every good boy deserves forge, or my own is, every good boy deserves favor. This is an old trick that we were taught in school to help us to remember, the names of the lines. So just say, every good boy deserves favor. That gives you the name of the lines, the notes or the names of the lines in the treble or G clef. We move on to the spaces. And the name of the spaces is face, F. This is the F note. This is the A note. This is the C note. And this is the E note. Simply face. And they represent a sound just like every note in the line represents a sound. So once you see the G clef, you know that the spaces is face. And then for the lines, you just say, every good boy deserves favor, like we saw here. Now, we've spoken about this already. Now let's talk about notes and rests. Somebody says, I can't seem to hear anything on my end. Guys, can everybody hear me, or is there a problem with the sound? Please, if you can hear me, type Y. If you can hear me, type Y. Okay. Everybody can hear me. If you cannot hear, I think you must, somebody just type in the WhatsApp group, tell the person to log out and log back in again. Yes, that will be like the best solution. So let's continue. Now, the last time we were talking, I spoke about note values. I spoke about 1 note in a bar, 2 notes in a bar. That might seem a little bit, I said we're going to dive into it this week. And this is what it is. Now, I want you guys to open your mind. This thing is very simple. You'll be able to go back and look at it again. But there's one of the time, the time signatures. Now, time signature is used in music. You can see where I'm circling to let everybody know how many counts are there in a bar. A bar is when you see this, like now, for example, in music, between this line and this line will be a bar. Then you have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines there, Now, in a 4/4 bar, 4/4 bar means there is 4 beats in 1 bar. And I will tell you how they arrived at this 4/4. Now, so I'm going to give you the name of these notes and these rests and how many of them you find in 1 bar. So the first one is called the whole note, and it looks like this. It looks like a whole donut. So whole note or donut, it looks exactly like a donut. When you have a 4/4 bar, only one of this guy can be in a bar, because one of this guy takes 4 beats. So if you have this in a bar and you have to play that note, it will be let's say metronome is going 2, 3, and you have that note, you go it will be one of it in a bar. You can't have more than one of it in a 4/4 bar. And its rest look like this. The rest of it is like a small stool that is, I don't know how to call it, or you call it a graduation hat that is worn, like somebody is putting on a graduation hat, you know. That's what the rest looks like. So this stem normally will be like that on top of a line. Then you know that, oh, this is 4 beats rest. So for 4 beats, you won't play anything. So it takes 4 beats, and there is only one of it in a 4/4 measure. Now the next one is a half note. It looks like a golf ball, you know, that has a hole in it. You know, a golf, what is it called? A golf club that has a hole in it. It looks like a golf club that has a hole in it. Apologies for that. That has a hole in it. This takes 2 beats. So when you see this, you play bam for 2 beats, and the rest looks like this. It's like a graduation hat that is lying upside down. Huh? So it's like the exact opposite of that of the 4/4. And it takes 2 beats, like I said, and you have 2 of it in a 4/4 bar. Remember this one, you have 1 of it in a 4/4 bar because it takes 4 beats. But because this takes only 2 beats, you need 2 of it for the first 2 beats and 2 of it for the next 2 beats. So you have 2 of it in a 4/4 bar. The next one is a quarter note. It's called a quarter note. It's like a golf ball, a golf club, you know, dotted golf club, you know, dotted golf club. It takes 1 beat. So 1 of it takes 1 beat, you know, and this is what the rest look like. The rest look like a funny tree, you know. It looks like a funny tree, like a tree that is doing is a modeling, like a tree that is doing that is modeling, you know. I'm trying to use this word so that you will laugh, but it will help you to remember, you know. This is like a tree that is doing, that is modeling, you know, with standing with some attitude there. So it takes 1 beat, like I said, and there is 4 of it in a 4/4 measure. The next one is the 8th note. The 8th note is exactly the half of the quarter note, just like the quarter note is the half of the half note, and the half note is the half of the whole note. Now, the 8th note takes half a beat. Remember last week we were talking of something and I said every beat has a down beat and an up beat, if you guys can remember. So this one, there is 2 of it in every beat. Now for the quarter note, there's 1 of it in a beat, but for the 8th note, there's 2 of it in a beat. How? How can 1 beat have 2? Because every beat is a ka, ta, ta, ta. So every beat has a down beat and an up beat. So for this quarter note, there is 1 note on the downbeat and another note on the upbeat. So, like I said, it takes half a beat. And this is what the rest of it looks like. You know, this is what the rest of it looks like. The rest looks exactly like this. And, okay. Need to check something quickly. Fantastic. Welcome. Yeah, he can hear himself now. That's beautiful. That's amazing. Yeah, I'm happy. Now, as we were saying, coming back to the class, sorry. So the 8th note, there is 8 of it, just as it implies. There is 8 of it in a bar. There is 8 of it in a 4/4 bar. So you have ta 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 ta, because there's two of it in each note. So there's ta 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 ta. So if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, so it's ta 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 ta. And for the sake of counting, when you want to count this one, this guy, you count 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to show you something now. Whenever you see any piece of music, especially at this stage, the first thing I want you to do is to count. So if you see 4 of these, you should go 1. You should go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. When it comes to the 8th note, it will be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And when you see an 8th note, I'm sure if you guys have been around some of those more advanced guys, you can say, 8th note, quarter note, 16th note. This is what they're talking about. Now, for the 16th note, on each beat, there is 4 notes. For the 16th note, on each beat, there is 4 notes. And then in a bar, in a 4/4 bar, which has 4 beats, that means there's 16 of it, which is where it got its name from. 16th note. 16th note, because there is 16 of it in a bar. You can see here 4. Each one of these represents a beat. 4, 8, 12, 16. 4, 8, 10, 12, 16. So for this, when you want to count it, you go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and A1, 2 and A2, 3 and A3, 4 and A4, 1 and A1, 2 and A2, 3 and A3, 4 and A4, 1 and A1, 2 and A2, 3 and A3, 4 and A4. That's how you count it. So when you see any piece of music that's got this thing, that means in each beat, there is 4 of it. In each beat. Now that's all that this thing is all about, and the rest of it is exactly like the rest of the one above, but just the way this has got 1 tail and this has got 2 tail, so also has the rest got 1 tail here, and the rest here has got 2 tails. So from now on, when you see this in a piece of music, you know exactly what it is. Now we're going to clap the notes, just for the sake of it. For example, in a 4/4 bar now, this is a 4/4 bar. That's why it's in 4/4. This means there is 4 quarter notes in 1 bar. This is a quarter note, remember? Remember what a quarter note is? This is a quarter note, right? So when they write 4/4, it means there is 4 of 1/4 of a quarter note in a bar. Don't worry about that. It will make more sense with time. So now, if we are to clap these notes, 2, 3, it will be pa, 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 pa. If you are to play from here, it will be pa, 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 pa. When you come here, it should be pa, 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 like that. So where I put P, it means play. You see. Here, when you get here, it is pa 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 pa. When you get to the 16th note, remember there is 4 in each beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Pa 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 pa, and so on. Yeah, this one I don't even think I can sing it. Yeah, something like that, you know. But we stop at the 16th note. But that's just to give you an idea of how each of these notes functions in a piece of music. Now, we're moving on after notes values. So we just went through this. So for this one, there is one note for the whole note. There's one note in a bar. One note. That's why it's called whole. So one note takes the entire bar. You see, one note takes the whole bar. And for this, there's two notes. You know, pam pam in a bar. For this, one note per beat. 4 of it in a bar. For these, there's 8 of it, which is why it's called an 8th note, because there's 8 of it in each bar. And for these, there's 16th notes because there's 16 of it in each bar. Now we're going to move on to scales. What are scales? A scale is a combination of notes that belongs to the same family. It's a combination of notes that belongs to same family, but there it's always played together, but there are rules for for scale construction. Scales are basically constructed, you know, and there are rules for them. One of the best way to see how scale function is on the keyboard, and we're going to get to that. Some of the scales we have: the major scale, the natural minor scale, harmonic minor scale, melodic minor scale, diminished scale, whole tone scale, blues scale, pentatonic scale, pentadomic scale. Um, for the purpose of this course, we are going to focusing on the major scale and the harmonic minor scale. Just those two scales, because every other scale are contained in those two scales. The fundamentals of them are contained in those two scales. Now, this is like a summary of all the scales that I just put there. Now, the major scale. I'm going to use C for example. I told you, like I said, that the first 7 letter of the alphabet is used in music. That is A to G. Now, for the C major scale, you have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. You know, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, C, B, G, A, D, 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 do. That's where you get the re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do from. Hmm? Basically, that's it. That's where you get the major scale from. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Is C to C. Then the natural minor, I'm going to use the A natural minor, for example. Now, the natural minor, the major scale is very sweet, you know, very sweet. It's very sweet, it's very sonorous, it's very welcoming, it's very happy, very, very happy. There's something I need to demonstrate for you guys quickly. It's very sweet, very sonorous, very, very happy. Very happy, very amazing. It's like I don't know how many of you know this song by Kenny G. G-Bop. Pa 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 da 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 da. song is very, very sweet. That's major. That's major scale. The major scale is very sweet, is very sonorous, very welcoming, very sweet. Now, but inside the major scale, instead of playing do to do, if you start from la to la, go, that becomes a minor. It's called a natural minor. That is what is called a natural minor. What is a natural minor? Is when you play from la to la of any scale, of any major scale, that's a natural minor. Guys, that's all. La to la. If you hear that chord of that one, you can see it's sour, it's sad. The minor chord is very sad, it's sour, it's used for depicting a disturbing emotion, or when you are broken down and stuff like that. Basically, that's what minor is. So if you want to grab people's emotion, or if somebody dies, or somebody is grieving, or somebody has just had a bad day, that would be more like the minor, like the minor chord, minor scale. Then we have the harmonic minor, which is the next one I want us to focus on. Now, the harmonic minor is I'm going to use a harmonic minor for example. Is a derivative of the natural minor, but the second to the last note is not in the major scale. So instead of la ti do re mi fa so la, I say la ti do re mi fa zi la. La ti do re mi fa zi la. This harmonic minor. Now you can hear that tension. So the harmonic minor is that's the harmonic minor. Now I'm gonna jump the blues scale. I'm gonna jump this because I don't want you guys having too many things in your head. Now I'm coming to major scale. I'm gonna use C as an example for the major scale, for the sake of this class, for the sake of understanding. It's always good to go from where everybody else can understand. Like I said, the C is C to C. So it's C, D, E, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. That's a C major scale. Now it's also called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you can also call it 1. You can call the C 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So when I say 1, I mean C. It's also called do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's the tonic solfa. But also in some cases, some people use 1, 2, 3. I'm teaching you this because regardless of where you go, it depends on where you go. In the jazz circle, a lot people use 1, 2, 3. They use 1, 2, 3 for the notes. They use 1, 2, 3 for the chords, especially for the chord. And anywhere you go, you will see mostly the chords written in 1, 2, 3. Like people want to get on stage now and then they want to play a song. They just say play 1, play 2, play 5, play 6, play flat 7. Oh, no. I'll show you guys all of those. So it's also 1, 2. So when they say 1, is the do or the first degree of that scale. When they say 2, is the re or the second degree of that scale, and so on and so forth. By the time you get to the next note up, like that's an octave apart, so you call that an octave, which you don't have 8. It stops at 7. because the first 7 letters is used. So this is also the same thing. Now